Good morning, everybody. Today is February 24th, Monday, and we have a major sell-off on the stock market. Dow Jones is over $1,000 down, and it's trying to get up, but it's having a hard time. I was actually able to make some good money in the beginning of the day when the stock market opened already $1,000 points down, and I was able to do a swing trade on Microsoft by buying a call. I forgot what the strike price, it was maybe 134 for this Friday. I bought it at $1, sold it at $5, so made 500% within like 30 minutes. So, but also, you know, I'm buying stuff like Facebook, Intel, Johnson & Johnson, DIA, which is a Dow Jones ETF. So I have a feeling that, and my systems basically show that the drop is too much, too fast, and even though we do have some scare in Europe and in Asia, such as South Korea and Italy, where coronavirus is basically affecting how people behave. A lot of these people are kind of like, you know, they either got infected or a lot of different places where people live are being quarantined, and people are not traveling much. So, but at the same time, when people are kind of bound to the places where they stay, so they don't get infected by the virus, they don't pick up the virus from anybody else, guess what? The technology companies actually benefiting from it, because people use Facebook a lot more to share their opinions, to share some advice or warnings about the virus. Also, people are working off from the houses. They're basically kind of doing telecommuting, and obviously companies such as Microsoft and Intel and even Google, they do have all those tools that allow people to do this type of work from the remote location. Also, the other thing that I would highly suggest you to buy are the medical companies or pharmaceutical companies such as Merck, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, because these companies would be in the front line of fighting coronavirus with either vaccines or antiviral drugs, and the demand for their services and for their products would be quite high. After we overcome the coronavirus epidemic, more or less, I think that we will have a different approach to how we predict this kind of viruses, and also how we prepare for it by creating very strong antiviral medications and vaccines. So, and all these companies will participate in it. And by the way, even though we do have a major sell-off, like Merck and Pfizer, for example, they didn't get sold off that much. They just had a little bit of a blip down, but then they recovered quite nicely. So the only one is, I think, Johnson & Johnson is still experiencing quite a drop, but technology companies and pharmaceutical companies, I think they will benefit in the long run from this drop. And right now, if you have the money, I would highly suggest you to invest money into the option calls, so you could at least freeze the price of those stocks at this low levels as we have right now. I also saw Warren Buffett's interview on CNBC, and where he actually clearly kind of said the same thing, that I would use this sell-off as a major buying opportunity, because who knows when we will see such low prices in the future. And since we are talking about American stock market, at this time, I think that America is, better prepared to this type of epidemic or this viral infection, better than probably most other countries, because our technology is very advanced. It allows us to collaborate and work together remotely, and also I think what benefits America is that we have a very developed, very sophisticated transportation network that is primarily based on personal cars or personal automobiles. So yeah, in some major cities we do have public transportation, such as subway in New York City, or for example, like Amtrak trains that bring people from suburbs to the major metropolitan areas. But this type of transportation is nationwide, is more of an exception than a rule. So the fact that we are basically traveling in our own personal cars, I think it actually gives us more protection against viral infection and contamination, because your car is your capsule where you are I guess protected from contaminating or picking up the virus from somebody else. So I would highly suggest you to consider buying those stocks and those ETFs, because I think we will have a very strong comeback, very strong pullback. And I'm driving right now near the high school, and nobody is wearing any masks. There's no like scare there, and I guess it also kind of shows you how advanced and developed the country is, such as America, versus the other world. Like they would say that in South Korea, for example, that they have a lot of infections or whatever. And I just saw the movie called Parasites, and it kind of shows you that yeah, maybe South Korea is a pretty advanced country, but they do have quite a bit of poor population that lives in very congested areas, not very hygienic. And if somebody picks up some kind of virus, such as coronavirus, it is highly possible for others to pick up and get infected as well. So I think that we will see a very quick, very strong comeback. So invest into American blue chip stocks, such as all members of Dow Jones. And I guess thank you for your time, and good luck trading.